Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody. So today, I was telling you, today will be the last chapter of the first module. So first module is full of karma, right? Activities, what activities we should do, whether we should renunciate activity. Broadly, the concept is karma yoga, which means that how can we reach Krishna by doing our duties, right? So now till the fifth chapter, we knew, we got it, right? It's like karma yoga and Krishna consciousness. And the sixth chapter is for many, of course, no one in this group belongs to that category, but there will be somebody who will say that, okay, Krishna told both paths are there. What are the two paths which Krishna told? Can anyone tell me, the two choices which we have to reach Krishna consciousness or to reach Krishna's final abode? You all can unmute and try. Arjuna says Ekam Vada, but what does Krishna tell? Or rather, what are the two choices which Arjuna is confused? So let me rephrase my question. There are two options, right? So to reach Krishna's abode, what are the two choices? Like which option can you take? Yeah, so renunciation or renunciating the fruits, right? So till now we saw the fruits till the fifth chapter, and sixth chapter is renunciation, which means that we will take karma sannyasi and go to the forest. So now, till now, I have to leave everything and go to the forest. Jai Shruti Priya, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, that's perfect. So now what we will do is we will all relocate to forest, right? Till now I was telling we are in the war field, but to know karma sannyasi, we cannot be in war field. So for this chapter alone, let's all pause the war field. We will come back again in the seventh chapter. But right now, let's all pack our bags. No, actually wrong language. Pack our bags will be for the holiday, right? So we're not going on holiday, we're going on sannyasi. Leave things as it is. Forget about the house, forget the bags, forget college, forget school. I know that's exciting when I tell forget school and college, but forget your family, forget your relatives. I'm adding more. More than that, forget your mobile, right? Now you understand how disheartening it is. And we will pack our bag and go to forest. Yes, already Shruti Priya is ready. She's dropped her bag, not packed her bag. And before we start, let me start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjalachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhayo Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. How many of you all know Narsimha, any song or story about Narsimha? Today is Narsimha Jayanti. Anybody knows any song, any stories about Narsimha? Hare Krishna. If you tell, if you know, it's fine. If you don't know, it's also fine. We can all chant together. So I'm just going to share the screen and we will start the sixth chapter. Can I request 2 minutes for, on account of Narsimha Jayanti, can we all chant the Sri Narsimha Pranama? Is that okay with you? So let's pay our obeisances to Lord Narsimha. Just 1 second. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So this today is Narsimha Jayanti, right? So this is called Sri Narsimha Pranama. So I'll sing the first line and you can repeat after me. So y'all can unmute. Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladaladaire.
Praladiladidaine.
Praladaladaine.
Praladiladidaine.
Hiranyakashi Purvatsala.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha.
Hiranyakashi Purvakshala.
Hiranyakashipurvakshala.
Shilatangana Kalaine.
Shilatankana Kalai.
Beautiful. Shilatankana Kalaye.
Shilatankana Kalai.
To Narsimha, Parato Narsimha.
Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha.
Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha.
Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha.
Yato Yato Yami Tato 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 Narsimha.
Bahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha.
Bahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha.
Bahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha.
Bahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha.
Narasimha Madim Charanam Prapadye.
Narasimham Madim Sharanam Prapati.
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye.
Narasimham Madim Sharanam Prapati.
Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Aputa Shingam.
Tava Karakamalavare Nakam Adhuta
Shringam.
Shingam.
Tavakala Kamalavare Nakam Atputa Shringam.
Tava Karakamalavare Nakam Adhuta
Atputa
Shingam.
Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu.
Dalita Hiranyakashipu.
Tanu Bringam.
Anubhingam.
Dalita Hiranyakashipu. Tanu Bringam.
Dalita Hiranyakashipu. Tanubhingam.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa.
Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Come on, join.
Jaya Prahlad
Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for chanting. So quickly, let me, one of y'all can read the English meaning. Here, just the English
Sure,
meaning.
Mataji.
Yeah, please go
Like
ahead.
the meaning of all 3 paragraphs?
Yes, ma.
Okay. I offer my obeisances to Lord Narasimha, who gives joy to Prahlad Maharaj, and whose nails are like chisel on the stone-like chest of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Lord Narasimha is here and also there. Whenever I go, Lord Narasimha is there. He is in the heart and is the outside as well. I surrender to Lord Narasimha, the origin of all things and supreme refugee. Prayer to Lord Narasimha by Jaydev Goswami. O Keshav, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of the half man and half lion, all glories unto you, just as one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernail, so in the same way the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails of your beautiful lotus hands. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So beautifully read. So beautiful. You know the shloka already, right? You know the pranam.
Yeah, actually, the last para we used to sing like a whole 4 lines together, and I got confused when you broke
No,
that.
but if you had known, I would have left that to you because you're singing much, because I don't sing. In fact, I don't sing at all. So this morning I just chanted the song. I thought, okay, it's nice. So I'll take the opportunity. Anyway, thank you so much. Very beautiful. Hare Krishna. And thanks for all of you coming. All of you are mentally praying. At least we thought on the occasion of Narsimha Jayanti, let's have, Narsimha Pranam Mantra. So you are chanting the Mayapur style, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so all of you, now we are going to the forest. All the more we need Narsimha's blessings. So, though technically all of you here are Bhakti devotees, they all are believing in following Bhakti Yoga. However, we will still understand what this is. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
Screen visible? Okay. So this session is called Dhyana Yoga and alias Ashtanga Yoga. It's also called Ashtanga Yoga. So what is yoga? So just 1 second. So what is yoga? So yoga is all about this, right? Postures. This is what we are seeing. Of course, this is the olden time yoga, but the newer yogas are starting here. Yeah. This is called beer yoga. And this really surprised me because even when you're fighting or you're in sports, they don't advise you to drink maybe a sip of water, but you don't keep drinking bottles of water the way I drink when I'm taking class, right? That's not when you're doing exercise. So this is a very funny yoga. Has anyone tried this yoga?
No,
No,
Mataji.
Mataji.
No. I'm just wondering how they made the sheep. That's a sheep, right? How could they make a sheep stand on her? Yeah.
Mataji, they have instructors for that. I have seen it.
Oh, really?
They have
Okay, I thought
yes.
it is some picture things.
No,
Really
they
have an
make
instructor who make the sheep stand.
the person lay down and they put goat on top and then they say you do your pose.
I didn't know that. Okay. So when my daughter was sitting, there was a small cat of, I'm just remembering that, sitting on the shoulder and seeing the laptop. So I'm just wondering if that will also come under the category of yoga. I'll have to figure that out. So this one. So this is one type of yoga. It's called the business yoga. And now you can see, can someone tell me a picture, first picture, what's this? Who is this? I should not say what's this. Today, he's the one whom Narasimha killed. So that's why I'm pausing so much. So today, he's Hiranyakashipu and he's Prahlad's father. And whatever he did, right? He did for so many years. So many years. I'll tell you the story at the end. I'm sure you all know, but I think she already told, right? Divya already told us the story of Prahlad, but there's the beginning part of pre-birth of Prahlad, which I'll share at the end. So he is doing a lot of austerities which are not prescribed at all. So, the heat became so high that Brahma had to come and just give him a benediction. So this is yoga for kitten also, it's there. I just was talking about the kitten and the kitten has come. So chair yoga. So it's the height of laziness, na? Doing yoga and chair. We also had something called yoga, office yoga for about 10 days. Don't ask me what we learned, but we did that. And yoga for pregnancy. Who is this guy? Very familiar face. I'm not able to recall. Anyone knows who is this so-called superhero? No? Acha, Divya, Ukram Veera Mishra, I just saw the message. Very beautiful. So we'll do that at the end after finishing the chapter. Just remind me. Hare Krishna. So these are the various types of yoga. What's Ashtanga Yoga? So we'll see that Ashta means 8, Anga means limb, and Yoga means connection, right? So it's 8-limbed connection. So the entire chapter is this only. Yama, Niyama, Ashana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Right? This is a chapter somehow I have never been fond of. At least the first 3/4 of the chapter. The last few verses are of interest for me. Nevertheless, we have to show interest in all chapters of Bhagavad Gita, so we will do. In fact, I asked why there is so much of details of this chapter where we are not even keen. They said, "Arey, what is the detail? This by itself is a course, right? All this Ashtanga Yoga, and you're just reading it in one chapter. Isn't too much." So for me, I just felt it was too much. So I'm just telling you all, I'll try and keep it simple. So if anybody knows yoga here, maybe they can help me, help you all. Hare Krishna. So this is a posture which we have to be, which itself fundamentally is wrong. So we have to be like standing, sitting straight. We'll start seeing each one. Start reading. I will explain after each. So Yama 6.10. Hare Krishna.
He should live alone
Please.
in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind.
So the first step talks about we have to live alone, right? So remember, yoga is not about just going for a 1-hour yoga class. It's about being completely alone in a secluded place. You'll be in a completely secluded place and nobody will be there. Now, biggest thing which you have to get out of your head is fear. It's not easy to stay alone, right? So we all know, even when we go on a tour, even on a school tour or something, even to go to the restroom, sometimes we tell someone to come, right? They just come with me, and stand outside. That's the kind of security we want. Here we have to go because the biggest concern for anyone is what if I fall sick, right? I should have someone to take care of me in a crisis. So that's gone. That's not going to happen. So Niyama 6.17.
Temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation.
Hare Krishna. So this will come in your nectar of instruction, first one, which you will do in your level 3. It is Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, Udaro Prashta Vegam, Etan Vegan Vishesa, Dhiraha, Sarvam Apiman Pativim Sashishyat. So basically it talks about controlling. Nectar of Instruction is a book written by Prabhupada. It is there in Veda base. And you learn that in detail in level 3. Controlling 6 urges, right? So urges of the mind, urges of the tongue, right? Urges of everything, belly, genitals, urges of speaking, all the 6, and everything, complete control. So it talks about control. So Niyama talks about don'ts, right? So all Vedas come with the do's and don'ts, especially the instructions, right? So here he says you have to live alone, what you should do. And he says what you should not do, right? And what you should control. So controlling everything, eating, sleeping, working, recreation. Asana is the sitting posture. I think primarily our yoga starts from here. It doesn't talk about yama or niyama. Right? Asana is where we all understand. So maybe you can go ahead and read 6.11 too.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Lay kosher grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin. The seat should neither be too high or not too low and should be situated in a sacred place. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an agitated, subdued mind, devoid of a fear, completely free from sex life, and one should meditate upon me.
So very clearly, right, you are sitting, it should be neither low nor high, and should one hold, everything should be erect. So I told you our posture itself is wrong. So you have to sit like that, and you should not close your eyes, because if we close our eye, we will sleep off. And if we are opening our eye, we will be seeing everything around. So they will be seeing the tip of the nose, like the guy who's seeing here, like the ghost movie, his eye barely can see. And focus on the, and you have to be completely free, even mentally. So you don't think of anything. So look at us, while chanting itself, our mind is diverted. Here they are saying, even while doing this asana, you're not going to think of anything. Now you all are going to tell me why deer skin. He is going for yogasana. Why such a nice skin and all he needs? Why?
Do deer have any kind of specific value? I don't know.
It is pure, I guess.
Yeah, that's also nice, pure. But actual reason is because deer skin is an repellent. So when the eyes are closed, I told we are alone. So there could be, in a forest area, a lot of things like spider or snakes or whatever you call it. So deer skin is a natural repellent. So it will not come, so animals won't hit you, or insects won't bite you. So don't search for a deer skin to wear when you're going on a holiday. So that's coming under the prohibited purchase, right? So technically deer skin those days were only for that reason. And why sufficient height? Because if it's too high, your chair is uncomfortable. So low, it applies to me also, right? So when I'm taking class, since I have to sit for about an hour or an hour and a half, I make it a point that my posture is more comfortable. So you set the height so that it's not too high or too low. So pranayama. Pranayama, it's about breathing, right? So 5.29. Yes, please. Sorry, 6.29. Please go ahead.
Practice stopping the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming, and incoming into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in the trace. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. Hare Krishna. So what you do is basically swapping of the breath, right? The movement of outgoing breath into incoming into outgoing. So basically, it's all about breathing practices. Everything which we do pertaining to breathing will come under pranayama. Right? So this is where largely, asana, mainly pranayama is the focus of our yoga. So yoga is coming from the word yuj, which means connecting to God. Here, these days, we have yoga, but it does not have connection with God. I was also teaching an adult 18-day batch, and there were a couple of teachers who were yoga teachers. So they were telling, how can you tell yoga is, I said, no, this is what is given in Bhagavad Gita. We will have so many things, right? So technically, for example, soup, anything hot is also called soup. So I will take a glass of water, I'll heat it, I'll add a pinch of salt, and I'll add 2 corns. I can call it soup, right? What stops me? The point is, the person who's taking will stop me, because he or she can't drink. So same way, there is something called the prescribed posture. Prescribed posture in yoga, which is already mentioned in the Veda. So what the yoga schools or yoga colleges teach, the purpose of yoga is to connect with God. That is lost. Now it's become only postures, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is nothing but some kind of an exercise, right? So that's what it is. Pratyahara, 6.15. Hare Krishna. Please read.
Cessation of a material existence. Okay, 6.
Arana 6.18. Hare Krishna. Yeah, go on.
Disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to be attained yoga.
Hare Krishna. So pratyahara means cessation of material existence. You stop. So in yoga practices, especially you're going to the forest, what do you drop is you first forget completely about the material thought. You will not have any kind of material wish, material desire. Nothing will be material. So if at all you have, anything will be spiritual. So they will have to stop thinking of not just family, but anything in their mind they have to kill. Dharana is anything they do, as I said, is only spiritual, transcendental, right? No material wish, but only transcendental activities they will do. Even transcendental, they will not use material things. So for example, if there is a flower, they will give to God, but they will not probably use a mobile and see the God photo. Even though for us, that's a difference. First of all, they won't use mobile itself, that's a different thing. But we will use everything. Matter is used for God, we make it transcendental. That's what Vaishnava devotees do. The sannyasis, actually, they completely leave all this. Dhyana, 6.70. Hare Krishna. Please go
As
ahead.
a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remain always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
So just as what they're saying is the lamp doesn't waver, right? Like the transcendentalist, also their mind is so fixed that they never wave. They are so fixed, their mind, that nothing happens to them. They are so clear and they will never get confused. So that's very difficult, right? For us, every second, our mind, the fastest traveling, traveler or traveling vehicle is our mind, because the speed with which the mind travels cannot, no one or nothing can compete. Now, when I'm talking to you or you're talking to me, you can technically go all the way to France and come back, or you can go for a sightseeing and come back in no time, right? So that's why it's called the fastest means of travel. So the last one is samadhi, 6.22-23. Hare Krishna.
One is never shaken even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all the miseries arising from the material contact.
Yeah. So he says once this is, so basically undivided attention, right? That's what is dhyana. It's very steady in the meditation stage. Samadhi is a final stage where mind is never shaken. There is no disturbance at all. Dhyana is also very steady, but at least external disturbance can be there. Like, for example, we saw Vishwamitra. When he saw Urvasi got disturbed, right? Samadhi is a state, nothing happens, whatever happens, right? And this is a stage which is required. It's from complete liberation. It's like you're there. Now, I already asked you all, and even before I told you this, you told me you don't want to do this yoga system. But when I did my other classes, a couple of them were always, even in the advanced level, a couple of them were always interested in yoga system. But the moment we explained all this, they backed off. They just said, no, we're not doing this. So let's try and see what Arjuna has to say. Let's hear Arjuna's voice. Now, this picture, we already told Arjuna was trying to shoot the eye of the bird. And we know, did you all agree that Arjuna is a better or a talented person than us? Do we are we in sync on that, or do we have a disconnect here?
Of
Anyone
course,
feel,
Mataji.
huh?
Of course, he's better.
Sure. No. So anyone feels that you're y'all are superior than Arjuna in any way? Anybody feels like
No,
that?
Mataji.
Any competition? Anyone wants to compete in the brain or intelligence, looks? Anybody? No. Okay. This will make sense. So now, during Draupadi's time, right? He actually just remind me this motivation to tell the love story of Arjuna and Subhadra. But so he will take the arrow and he will he sees the reflection. So that's his power. Now, has he not been an renunciate? Yes, he has. When they were in exile, they were all in exile, right? So he was typically leaving his Gandhi, he was focusing on all this. In fact, he so related that to start this before he married, there was a rule that for a person and the brothers, they will not in the room. So on that day, the main cabinet where they keep the weapons and all are in the main room, and that room is where he is with Yudhishthira. So there was a devotee who comes and requests that there is the cows are getting killed. You may tell, what is it? Is it so important? Yes, it's very important, because protection of cows becomes a prime work of the Vaishya and the Kshatriya. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya. So immediately he goes inside because he needs his bow and arrow, the Gandiva. No doubt he doesn't even look up. He just goes down, takes, and he attends to it. However, there is a rule that he has to go on exile for 1 year. Though Yudhishthira tells him, you don't have to follow this because I'm the one who was there. Even Draupadi says, no, you don't bother, I'm there. And Draupadi is very upset because of the 5 brothers, she always loved Arjuna. I mean, at least she loved Arjuna and she wanted to marry Arjuna. Of course, after marriage, she loved everyone. What I was telling is her interest was largely on Arjuna. And Yudhishthira also forgave. That time Arjuna said, I won't be the reason to break the rule. So there is a rule and I will abide by that. And he went for 1 year exile. So everything is done with a particular plan. And this story, remember, because when I'm telling you the love story of Arjuna and Subhadra, this base becomes important. And so he has been used to being in exile. But let's see what Arjuna is saying. So prior to that, also, this is called does anyone know the name of the weapon now? Or does anyone know who is this person? This is Arjuna. So I'll say that. Does anyone know who is he?
Mahadev.
It's Mahadev, Shiva. So there was a fight between Arjuna and Shiva, and Shiva was very pleased and he gave his Pashupatra, right? So he gave his weapon to Arjuna. And so that's the kind of power Arjuna had. So you can imagine what it is. And is Arjuna's story ending? Nara Narayana. These are two sages, Nara Narayana, in the previous birth. So he was telling, right, in the fourth chapter, we are born again and again. Nara is Arjuna and Narayana. It's like two brothers, twin brothers. And now you all were asking about Karna. So they came and they actually had this challenge with Karna, where Karna had Sahasra, right? He had 1,000 kavasha, Sahasra kavacha, right? From sun god. It was a benediction. He prayed and got it. And it was demon. And they both doing, be in sannyasi kolam, they will be there and they will be doing austerity. And they will have so much of power that they go and destroy one kavasha. That time the other person will be in austerity. He will go and remove it. Like that, they remove like kavasha. And the last kavasha when they were about to remove is when he had to go to go hide in the sun. Right? And it's basically Karna stories are long, and Hare Krishna. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me? I'm muted. So what happens is Indra comes and asks, right? We are all aware of the fact that Indra is coming and asking him about this, he's basically doing it for his son, and the two, it is cheating. He is so much betrayed. All this we speak, but the fact is, it is not because of fooling him. Krishna was already there. You think with any amount of kavasha, he will be protected. There's a saying, right? Maro Krishna ke rakhe hai, rakhe Krishna mare ke. So if Krishna wants to kill, nobody can save. If Krishna wants to save, nobody can kill them. So you think it is going to have any impact? But the fact is, material people were involved there, right? So no spiritual things were allowed. For that matter, if you see Hanuman was Bhishma's brother. Even he could not participate because he comes under the spiritual platform. He is, that's why as a flag, he stays there. If you see, even Krishna does not use his spiritual power. That's why he says, I will not use my weapon. So this kavasha is a spiritual tool. So this is a material fight. That is why nothing spiritual were involved in this. Gifts are different. You get a gift, you utilize it. Both sides, they were having those gifts. That's the long story. Hare Krishna. So Arjuna is telling Krishna this very beautiful shloka, 6.34. It says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna Pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Chanchalam, mind is flickering. So for all the devotees here who are messaging me and asking, Mataji, my mind is flickering now, Arjuna is now telling this to Krishna. Can you believe? Somebody like Arjuna is telling Chanchalam, my mind is flickering. I'm not able to dridam. It's not in one place. For the mind is restless, turbulent, austerity is very strong and obstinate and very strong. Oh Krishna, and to subdue it, I think it is more difficult than controlling the wind. So Arjuna is telling, I can even control the wind, but I can't control my mind. So imagine, and this is it's not a phrase. It's not like, hey, I can do anything. Yeah, no, he really could control the wind, but he could not control the mind. So that's what Arjuna is telling. So if that's the case for Arjuna, I don't think we need to talk about us, right? Yeah, you can go ahead and read what's in the screen. Hare Krishna. See, Krishna is replying. If it was us, what would be our reply? We'll tell, yeah, correct only. Now you understood, you realize, no, good thing. At least now you came to your senses. This will be our reply, no? Just hear what Krishna's reply is. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. The blessed Lord said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and by detachment. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work, but he whose mind is controlled and who strives by a right means is assured for success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very beautifully read. So he says that Oh yeah, Arjuna, it's not possible. I just forget it. I told you that time you're such a failure model. He doesn't say that, right? He says that it is difficult, but it's not impossible. You can do it still. By constantly focusing, you can do it. Why? Is he encouraging him to go ahead and do sannyasi? Is he doing that? Is Arjuna, is Krishna wanting him to give up? No, right? He wants him to fight. But why is he doing? This is the beauty of a teacher. A teacher, suppose you come and tell that I don't want to do medicine because I'm allergic with biology. The teacher will tell, yeah, correct, you're such a dumb idiot, don't do biology. Parents also will tell, little decently they will tell, yeah, biology and all, don't even think, yeah, it won't suit you, will not even pass. No, but look at Krishna, he's saying, no, it's like biology you can do, but you're stronger in maths, right? So you should focus that. If you keep practicing biology for so many times, you'll still be successful. That is the confidence which the guru gives, right? Guru, Shadhu, Shastras. This is also one reason. The true guru, this is what I always tell. There's a difference between a speaker and a teacher. A speaker is someone who just tells and they do not care about the person who's listening. Maybe they will try and see if the person can understand max, but they will not try to relate to the person. They won't have that empathy, right? So that's what is called acharya. Acharya means achar and prachar. What do you mean by achar? Achar means he will follow, right? He will first follow and he will say what he is able to follow. He will first walk and then he will walk his talk. That's what is prachar. Prachar means preaching, right? So that's why Prabhupada was called Acharya. He said, teach everyone. And I can't forget to tell you this, right? So this is like, everyone said, how? I don't know anything. How will I teach? I don't know anything. He says, no problem. Learn. Shrunu, hear. Shravanam is very important. If you hear, you can teach. They said, okay, how long? What is my time? How long I should take? 6 months, 1 year? What should I learn? What should I teach? He said 2 lines. What? You learn 2 lines, teach 2 lines. Learn 2 lines, teach 2 lines. This is what Prabhupada has told, right? So that's very important for us too. So first we are hearing and that's why we are listening. Why did we hear the 4th chapter? Shrunu. If you see so many times, Shrunu is coming. Shrunu means hear, right? This is the main reason. And look at the amount of motivation a guru can give. So that is why guru becomes very important. Now the question time, your mind a friend or an enemy for you?
Mataji, it is both.
Yeah,
yes, how it is and how we will concern it, so as it is, if we consider it is as a friend, it will be friend, and if enemy, it is as an enemy.
Very beautiful. Right now you tell me whether your mind is your friend or an enemy.
Right now it is friend Mataji.
No, right now, this moment it's your friend you're saying, okay, which is nice, but my guru used to tell me one thing. Do you have all of you all have best friends? So do you have a situation when your best friend can become a worst enemy? Maybe yes, but then in the afternoon she was my worst enemy. Now at dinner time she's going to become my best friend. Tomorrow morning she'll be my best friend or enemy. Do you have that? Does your friend take multicolors, or you just have a friend who's your best friend?
I guess it happens, like with the situation, people get changed their mind because of their benefit sometimes.
True, but does it, what you're telling is changing, very true. But does it happen that morning she's your best friend, afternoon she's your enemy, night, tomorrow, does it keep changing?
It happens only when certain circumstances are reached.
Yeah, so 1 or 2 times, yes, it happens, and after that we run away from that friend, right? So why I'm saying is, you're right, you're absolutely right. Mind can be a friend and an enemy, but it cannot be both at the same time, right? Most of the time mind fools you. We can't really make out whether it's a conscious which is speaking or mind is just fooling. So currently our mind is not trained, so it's our enemy. So we don't like to tell. We all decided whom will we tell the confidential secret. We all said that we will tell to our best friend. Now imagine we are having a mind with us 24/7, our worst enemy sitting. Why? Because our mind is currently untrained. So it is your enemy, all of us, right? The moment we train, yes, it's a friend, but have we trained it? Not as yet. So this is the answer. Yeah, please go ahead and read the screen. Hare Krishna.
For
Hare
him
Krishna.
who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for the one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy.
Very nicely, they are saying that for them who have conquered, right? For him who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But unfortunately, we haven't conquered. So it as of now is an enemy. So we are stuck with this enemy. These are the best part, or rather from there, I saw no mind, from there only is my part starts, which I like. So what is the destination if someone falls? So somebody is doing yoga. So whether it's this particular yoga, which we are talking, going in the forest, or even for us, right, we are practicing Krishna conscious, we'll have a lot of resistance. Don't get so much involved. Do in limit. Yes or no? Many people will tell, do it in limit. So bhakti should be regulated. Now, what is better? Limit? What is regulation? Why so young? You're so young. Why do you want to do it? And my mom still says, even 2 days back, she says that, we have to start all this at much. My mom, what she said is right. This is what my mom says. We should start reading Bhagavad Gita at the age of 60 only. Because, this will let go our involvement in life. Where is Krishna ever talking about not, he's telling fight. It comes so many times, right? If I do, probably that's one word which is used after bhakti. So he is never told give up the job, but we always perceive. This is called mental concoction. Krishna never tells at any point in time give up. He only tells do your work, do your duty at your best, right? And that is something which someone has to read Bhagavad Gita to understand. 6.37 is what it says, and 6.41. Yes, please go ahead and read, ma. It's very important. Hare Krishna. This is for somebody who fails in bhakti. So I'm, let's say, doing and I don't achieve, because if we succeed, we will go to the spiritual approach. Okay, what if I don't succeed? Two categories of people are there. One category is the first category, which is 6.41, where he succeeded, let's say, about 60%. Okay, what should be 60-70% success? So that we will read in 6.41. Succeeded 90%, last 10% he fails. What happens? Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead and read 6.41.
After many, many years of enjoyment on the planet of pious living entities, born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy.
After many, many years of enjoyment, right? So many years of enjoyment, right? On the planet, pious living entities, they are born with a family of people, righteous people. They are all born in that particular people into the family of rich aristocrat. They're all born among the rich, very rich aristocrat, right? So they are particularly born with among very rich aristocrat, and therefore such people are so nice, and they will be having luxury. Why? Most of us are in this category. You may tell, Mataji, where is aristocracy? Not about aristocracy. Is anyone here going to school or college have to go to some houses and wash vessels before you go? Is it that your next day food is dependent on your earning? Yes or no? Any of you? I mean, if any of you all are in that state, pardon me, but most of you are not. That is why you are having the luxury to sit here and keep listening to the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, you'll be there in one of the roads or one of the shops trying to make your next food. Yes or no?
Yes, Mother.
Yeah, and we are all more lucky than animals, because animals have to fight for its food. We don't do that. We just sit here and the food comes here. Food comes right here. So that's the thing. So therefore, we are already born in a decent family, and that is one thing. We all think that we have started bhakti now. No, we've started bhakti many generations before, and that's why we are able to take off, and that's why you are able to sit here in the 6th chapter, right? If you see how many people enroll and how many of you all are actually attending, that makes a huge difference. And please, the last one, 6.42, Hare Krishna. Sorry.
He takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The sloka is like this: Prapa punya kritat lokan suchiman shrimatam deke yogo basto abhijayate. Suchiman Srimatam Deke. Suchiman means transcendentalist, which we saw. Srimatan means Srimatam itself means money, right? So that is what it is about. So Papa Punya Kritak Lokan, that all those who are missing, right, will be born in one of the families to take over, is what he says. Now, who's the greatest devotee is a story by Narada, which I will tell you. But before that, we are going to check on various things called the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti. So now, why is this in order? The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita talks about Karma Yoga. The last 6 is Jnana Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is the 6th chapter, which we are reading. So this is not, yes, this is like ladder. If everything reach, all roads lead to Rome. Actually, I don't know if all roads lead to Rome, but all this ideally should reach Bhakti, should reach Krishna. If it is not, then the routes are not correct. But you don't need to take the stairs. These are the various ranks in the kitchen. Sorry, not kitchen, in the ladder. But if you don't you take an escalator also, you can directly go. So this is a hierarchy, but doesn't mean you have to do like your LKG first standard. No, you can directly do Bhakti Yoga, and that's what we are practicing. We don't do Ashtanga yoga, no, and we are directly doing bhakti in all our action. All the yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worship me in transcendental loving service, in most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. So he's very clearly saying, anyone who's a devotee who reaches me will definitely reach me, is what he is saying. So with this, we will end the chapter, but we will proceed with our with various bridge courses. So do you all have the same bridge course that will continue in the presentation? It also talks about chanting and all that. Do you all have any doubts till here? Otherwise, I'll proceed as it is into the bridge.
No doubts, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So different yoga practices in various yugas, right? This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that it talks about Treta Yuga. Tretaya yajato makahiyu dvapare paricharyaya kalo tadhari kirtanat. So Treta Yuga here, what you should do, and Dwapara what you should do. Kali Yuga is what we are doing. Kirtana, right? Kirtana is what we are doing. Sankirtan is what we should. So let's see what they are explaining. So Satya Yuga is meditation. People live for 10,000 years. So meditation was recommended. In Treta Yuga, people, sorry, not 10,000, 1 lakh years in Satya Yuga. Treta Yuga, people lived for 10,000 years. They used to perform very expensive sacrifices, right? And that was not easy. They used to really spend a lot of money. If you remember, Rama was called to take care of the Yagna, right? Protect and all that. So that was done in Treta Yuga. Dwapara Yuga used to be temple worship, very elaborate temple worship. They used to do, deity worship. It used to be so huge. All that used to be in Dwapara Yuga. In fact, the lifespan in Dwapara Yuga was 1,000. That is why Bhishma, even though he had Icha Marnam, he lived for 246 years. And in Kali Yuga, Sankirtanam is given. Does anyone know the hero in the picture? The golden dress. Sannyasi. Who is it?
Mataji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
It's very nice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's called, he is basically not known at all in South. We are all hearing, probably you all would have read him as one of the famous sannyasis, but actually he is none other than Krishna himself. And it's an exception. Normally Chaitanya coming in a particular yuga is not written. Normally yuga after yuga Krishna comes, right? So it's mentioned. He appears in one day of Brahma. But Chaitanya's coming is not mentioned at all. So he came, we are lucky actually. It's like bumper offer for us. So we are lucky that we got that offer. So we have to make use of the offer because he's gifted us Sankirtan Yagna so that we can go. So what does mantra means? Man plus tra. Man means, all of you know, man means mind. Tra means deliver. Right? So what is it? What delivers? So mantra here we're talking about is Maha Mantra, right? Come on, all of you chant once. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Abhi, thank you so much. Abhi, your message is so nice. Sorry, I'm reading only now. If you let your mind control you, it's your biggest sin. Very true. Worst master. If you let your mind control you, very true. And if you control it, it will be your best servant. Gita says, and you're also saying it. Very true. It's very difficult to control the mind, but if you control it, it will be your slave. So Sankirtan, what is the difference between Japa and Sankirtan? Can anyone tell me?
Japa is when we used to chant the holy name on the beats, and Sankirtan is when we used to sing it.
Yeah, perfect. So Japa is something when we are chanting and it is only for us, right? So most of the time it's only, we may chant a little louder, but then it's only for us, right? So it's like what we do in the end of the class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That becomes Japa, right? It is for personal, for us. And Sankirtan is like a Kirtan, right? You sing. So it's like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there was once our temple president. This was in one of the Bhagavatam classes. There was one Mataji who told, they asked how long it takes to chant. So approximately it should take about, at the beginning, it should take about 6 minutes, 5.5 to 6 minutes. But in the beginning, for some it takes for 8 minutes, which is okay. But there was one Mataji who told that it takes 30 minutes for one round, 108. So immediately Ramanishta Prabhu, this is what experience. He said, that's because you're not doing japa, you're doing kirtan. Maybe you're singing the way I was trying to chant the second time. So he said, don't do that. Right? So it will take hours together to finish. Maybe when somebody is like a little tired or something, yes, one time is okay. But then that should not become a habit. Right? So the japa is no model, no music or anything. It's just like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's it. And scriptural references for chanting the holy names of the God is given here. And what are the references? So we just saw what it is there in Narayana Sahita. So it very clearly mentions Dwapara. Okay, and this is a very different font. So what one should do. Finally, I'm going to do the English reading. It says that in the age of Kali, people should simply chant, right? This Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Iti nochaka nama kali kalmana naschana. Oh, okay, kali kalmana nashana nato paratora payo sarva vedenu dachyate. Right? Kali Santara Upanishad. It says that whatever you sing, right, automatically everything gets destroyed. So that's a speciality in this. And Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam. Kalo nasti eva gatir anyate. No other gati, no other thing. Wait, I'll do the English translation. It's there. Okay, it's not there. Anyway, this is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. It says there's no other way other than chanting the holy names of God. Right? And Krishna also, this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kaler dona nide rajan asti heko mahan gato. Kirtanad eva kanyasya mukha saigo para vraje. Right? So he very clearly says no other way for us. And yagna japo yagnasmi. So Krishna also tells in the 10th chapter, when he is talking about his vibhudis, he says, of the sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. It's given in Bhagavad Gita itself. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, it also says, my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name, there is all good fortune for living entity. And therefore, you have many names such as Kanaya, Govinda. You have invested all your potency in those names. And there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. So before I continue this, I told you about do's and don'ts of chanting. I will do that. So I was telling you all about that. I'm going to tell you about the Narayana story, right? Sorry, Narasimha story, which includes Narayana as usual. So what is the story which is talking about is, right? So I was talking, so Hiranyakashipu actually went to do austerity for 1,000 years. So he tells his wife, anybody knows the wife of Hiranyakashipu, name of the wife and the mother?
Kadayu.
Sorry?
Kadayu.
Sorry, I can't hear you at all.
I'm not sure, but I guess it's Kadayu.
You're close, but not exact. Okay.
And then another name, Leela also.
No, she's right actually. Or maybe I'm not hearing it properly. So that's, so it starts with a K. So you can go ahead and think and tell me, or you can find and tell me before the end of class or tomorrow also. So now I'm going to tell. So he goes for 1,000 years and Narada takes the form of the birds. And you know what Narada always chants, right? Narayana, right? So he says that only. He says, Namo Narayan, right? Namo Narayana, he keeps telling and he gets so distracted. So this is what happens for someone who is doing meditation. I wanted to bring in today because it's Narasimha Jayanti and also we are talking about meditation, right? So he gets so confused, not confused, he gets disturbed and distracted. Kayadu, yeah, I heard it as Gadai. Okay, sorry. Kayadu is correct. Kayadu is her name. And so immediately he, yes, Goen, you're right. And Divya, you're also right. Hare Krishna. And, you know, he goes and he gets so angry, he wanted to kill the birds, but the birds fly away because obviously now this particular thing is stuck, right? In his mind, that name, right? Namo Narayana, Namaha Narayana is going on lingering in his mind so much that he is not able to do anything. So he comes back and seeing him, his dear wife Kayadu is so excited, and Kayadu asks him what happened, and she says, this few birds were chanting Namo Narayana, and he was going on, and he was not knowingly but unknowingly meditating, right? Sometimes some noise or voice keeps lingering for us, right? not consciously, but sometimes, it just keeps lingering. So like that, it was lingering, and then the wife was looking very beautiful, and he obviously coming after the forest, he gets attracted, and that time when they get in touch with each other, right? And that is when Prahlad will conceive. So that time, you will know why Prahlad becomes very auspicious, because even from Hiranyakashipu, who is very bad, he is having the thoughts of the god, right? Even unconsciously, consciously. So if you tell in any form the name of the god, you can tell Ada Rama or Tenali Rama, right? Or sometimes we'll tell Govinda, 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 right? In Andhra, we used to tell it's gone means, oh, Govinda, 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 we used to tell, because we have the habit in Tirupati, we go and tonsure the hair, right? So hair is gone, like that, anything is gone. So even if it is told in a very hilarious way, the value is there, and there is no difference between the name of the god and the form of the god. So that is why I thought I'll bring that story linked to this chapter. So now we'll go back to chanting do's and don'ts, and check my chanting back. Okay. Chant the Panchatattva mantra. I told you all. So one of you all, do you remember what the Panchatattva mantra is? If you remember, please tell me. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, your lovely words. Thank you so much. So this day, Sri Chaitanya is none other than Krishna. Nityananda is Balram. Advaita, Acharya Advaita is Shiva and Vishnu together. Gadadhara is Radharani, and Srivasadi is Narada. So you will start with Panchatattva mantra before, and you will chant loudly for you to hear. Not Hare Krishna, you will be tired, right? You will chant for you to hear. Mouth talks, ear hears. That's all. Each word you will tell Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Give respect, so don't be very casual, and with devotion and concentration. You can chant in any time, any place, and that is why it's called Mahamantra. There is no restriction, place, time, and any time. Brahma Muhurta, which is your early hours, typically 4, 3:40, 3:30, 3:45, which you call as what? Dawn, right? Morning. So that's when you chant, because it gives you more focus, but it's not mandatory that you have to chant then. You can chant. You can chant before taking bath, after taking bath, doesn't matter. It's always recommended to chant by keeping a count in Tulsi beads. You can use any beads, but Tulsi beads have only one restriction, that if you use the restroom, that if you pass the stool, you have to take bath. That's the only restriction. But you can use any beads. For that matter, even your pearl, that 10 rupee bead wala is also fine. But use the beads. Do not chant one portion. For example, I will get my japa bag and explain to you. You don't, just give me 1 second. I think I'll get the bag so that it makes sense for these two, because you will want to see. Yeah, just give 1 second. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I am back. So let me just show you the do's, and then if I take you through, Hare, my video is gone. Then you'll understand. So this is the bag. You preferably use the bag. Not preferably, always use the bag. You don't show it like this. And this one is the bead, and you tell Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One complete bead. One. Many of us will have the tendency to tell Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You jump beats. Don't do that. And second is, after you finish one complete round, right? This is called Sachi bead. This is called Krishna bead. You don't cross over it. After you finish the entire round, right? You come, right? You'll come here. You'll finish here. And that time, don't cross. Don't do this. Turn the bead into this. Do you understand? So once you come here, don't cross it. Turn the beads. Just turn the beads and start from here. So this is something which I wanted to tell you all. These are and buy the beads which will fit your size. If you're on the heavier side, try and keep slightly bigger beads so that you Otherwise, your tendency is your fingers will jump to beats. Just make sure you don't do that. So one portion of mantra we saw, one should not chant on the Krishna beat, right? It's called Krishna beat. One should not chant while doing no multitasking, no reading book, newspaper, watching TV. And the benefits of chanting, you will have freedom from reaction of sins, relief from unwanted temptations, right? So many temptations, including cigarette. I heard like it's an addiction if you get used to it. So there, mind becomes a slave. So freedom from anxiety and stress. You automatically, when you have God, automatically your anxiety comes down, right? And you will have peace of mind, real happiness, right? Bliss, because the mind, right, is prakriti nivriti. Like to do and not to do is the job of the mind. And intelligence, right? What is the job of the intelligence? Intelligence is a deciding factor, right? The intelligence is what makes you take decision. And it's a choice, right? The decision is made by intelligence. That's why it's supposed to be powerful than the brain, than the mind. And the soul is the function, the bliss, happiness is a function of the soul. So actual real happiness only the soul can give. So chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is a process of realizing. George Harrison, everything started happening for me when I began chanting Hare Krishna. So he's saying that. And see, youngest director, right, 29 years old, and he is accepting. He says that chanting Hare Krishna has made a tremendous impact in my life. Albert Ford, all of you know Ford Motors. Yes, one of you all can read and I will just run through the pages.
Hare Krishna. I have been chanting Hare Krishna for many years and I have never found anything more pleasurable.
Right, so these are all big people, right? Famous people. D. Desai, leading industrialist. Yeah, go ahead.
Chanting Hare Krishna has helped me face all the ups and downs in my life with a great confidence and a peace of mind.
So again, Muffet Lal, all of you will be knowing. She's a Vogue magazine front page, right? She's a model, Dutch model.
Chanting helped me give up bad habits. It changed my vision of things.
Annie, Dutch model, right? By starting to chant Hare Krishna, I feel tremendous. Look at her. How was she and how she looks, right? Very calm, composed. She's sitting she's a leading model and she's sitting an outfit for Lord. You can make out. Yeah, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
My outlook towards life is a lot more brighter after starting to associate it with Hare Krishna devotees and chanting the Maha Mantra.
So very nice from Bruce. He's an army officer. Can you see there is complete range, right? From army you have, from constructions you have model. So there is no restriction. There is no caste. Chanting makes me feel close to God. He's a leading furniture designer. Yeah, please go ahead.
Maha Mantra significantly reduces stress, depression, and a mode of ignorance, and considerably increases mode of goodness.
So he is talking about the impact or the benefits of Maha Mantra. It increases the mode of goodness. He says that too. David Wolf, Master of Social Service Program. He has done a PhD on the benefits of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Can you believe he has done this and a PhD degree? And Maha Mantra, though is spiritual and is done for spiritual realization, there is always a bumper offer. So the bumper offer is we get a lot of material benefits like peace of mind, relaxation, freedom from anxiety, less diseases because we don't have anxiety and all of that. Yeah, please go ahead, dear. Hare Krishna.
When I'm stressed out, I chant. It's one thing which charges my batteries. It clears my mind and brings me back in the focus.
All blame, yeah. When I'm nervous, I find chanting very calming. I don't get shaken up at little things. Sally, designer, chanting Hare Krishna, reading authorized books on Krishna consciousness has brought me great peace. Ramesh Lal, right? So you can all chant and be happy. And with this, I'll conclude. Come on, all of us, let's also chant one time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna. Now Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So what are we talking about? We saw all the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, and this concludes by telling that what's the point? Why should you why should you renunciate yourself and go to forest? Instead, renunciate the actions. Don't renunciate the work. So with that, we conclude the 6th chapter. and the presentation and the story, everything over today. Did I, so 6th day, how many times will you chant? How many times will you chant?
Mataji, I didn't got it. Like, is there any pattern going on? And I didn't know.
Yes, there is a pattern which we've been thinking that every day we will chant 6 times. So the idea is to chant 108 times by the end of the class. We should get used to, right? So 18th day into 6 is 108. So first day we chant 6 times. Second day we chant 6 into 2, 12 times. Today is 6, right? 6 times you chant, and 6th day, 6 into 6, 36. So Gugan, thank you so much for the message. Who would like to chant today?
Mataji, I will stop recording.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Everyone, Hare Krishna one time to me, and then you can stop recording.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. You all can others. Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, you can stop.